Yeah, I'll start the demo class. Yeah. My name is Vinay, and I do have around 10 years of IT experience and working experience with various data warehousing tools like SAP BW BI and with various versions SAP BW 3.5, 7.0, and 7.3, the latest version. Apart from this, I do have working experience and knowledge of SAP ABAP, ClickU, and SAP Vivo Crystal reports. And I'm also an online trainer for SAP BW or BI. Okay, and today in our course we are going to learn about what is SAP BI is, what are the different versions associated with it. You guys are able to see my screen, right? I have now just opened a PDF document containing my course contents. Yeah. So the course name is SAP BI 7.0 BW 7.3, ABAP. So what is this BI, BW, BIW? So these are the different naming conventions used when referring to this particular tool. So all means the same. SAP BI stands for Business Intelligence, BW stands for Business Warehouse, BIW stands for Business Information Warehouse or Business Intelligence Warehouse. Okay, so SAP releases its products based on some numbers. Okay, for example, if you talk about Microsoft Office, we have Microsoft Office 2000, Office 2003, Office 2007, Office 2010, Office 2013. So what is the difference between these different Office products? All contains the, for example, if specific to Microsoft Office or Microsoft Excel, all the things are the same except a few enhancements to the existing things, right? What is the difference between the Excel 2010 and Excel 2013? Means most of the functionality, most of the properties are same, but in the 2013 Excel, you would be having a new enhancements, new kind of features, right? The same is applicable to our SAP BW system also. The first version was released in the year 2000 and it was named as SAP BW 2.0. And in the year 2002, they come up with the product SAP BW 3.5, which is nothing but the same product but enhancing with new features. And in the year 2006, they come with another product SAP BI 7.0. Here only the naming convention is changed. The SAP BW has been re-abbreviated to SAP BI 7.0. And year 2012 they come up with the BW 7.3, and in the year 2014, that is current year, they come up with a new product called as SAP BW 7.4. Okay, so what is the difference between, so the most of the companies organizations are using this SAP BI 7.0 as their in-house data warehousing tool. Okay, and what is the difference between the 7.0 and the 7.3 is 90% of the system is the same. Only 10% of the system is nothing but the new features have been added to this one. Okay, so most of the time we would be spending on the SAP 7.0 features. At the same time, once we are done with SAP 7.0, BI 7.0, we would be moving to SAP BW 7.3. And also for every BI consultant, especially SAP BI consultant, he should have some knowledge of the ABAP language, basic knowledge. It's not that you should have the entire knowledge of the ABAP, because in few of the areas we would be using this ABAP language in order to transform our data. That is the reason, if you are having the knowledge of SAP BI, BW or the ABAP, then it would be a good advantage for us when we go for an interview. There is a good edge for us if we include these kind of skill set: SAP BW 3.5, SAP BI 7.0, BW 7.3, ABAP, so that you are able to do the reporting, the ETL activities on all the three versions. Plus, you have the knowledge of the ABAP. Then the interviewer would be definitely impressed. For example, you gone for an interview. There are 10 people, and most of the people don't know this ABAP language, the basics of the ABAP. They are just focusing on the BI tool only. Then if you add this ABAP language also, then definitely you would be impressed with your contents, and you should be able to answer the questions also which is asking based on the ABAP language. Okay. Next, our duration of our training is 50 hours. So 45 hours I would be teaching the SAP BI 7.0 and BW 7.3, and the next 5 hours I would be teaching the ABAP language. So what is this ABAP actually? ABAP is a programming language of fourth generation programming language. It is a programming language developed by SAP organization. It is a proprietary language of SAP, which means no other organization would be using this ABAP in order to develop its applications. Say for example, we have .NET, HTML, Java, JavaScript, PHP. So those are not the proprietary language. Any other application can use these languages in order to develop its applications. But in the case of ABAP, only SAP uses this programming language in order to develop its applications. Okay, and irrespective, SAP BW system, SAP ERP system, SAP CRM system, SAP SRM system. So these are the different products of the SAP organization. So all of the SAP HANA, so all of these products are developed using this ABAP language only. Okay, and no other language would, no other organization, no other thing would be using the ABAP language on develop its applications. Next, so highlights of our training. I am a real-time industry experience trainer. So I do have 2 implementation projects experience plus 1 support project experience. And we would be having our session using an interactive web conferencing tool. So we would be using the GoToMeeting tool in order to connect our classes, so that we can, so I can speak out, I can share my screen, I can record the video, I can, whatever I'm speaking, you can hear it without any problem. And whenever you have doubts, you can use the help of the chat box in order to interact with me, or you can speak out over there, so that the session would be interactive. Here the only thing is, physically we are not present. Everything remains the same. So you are able to listen the things very clearly. You are able to see my screen. So how I am doing the different activities. So everything is same. Only the physical presence is not there. Okay. So which helps us to learn the things in a better manner. Next, I am taking class of on normal track, weekend and fast track class according to the student convenience. Next. This is one of the important features. Student will be provided a session recording capability to record each session. So whenever I start the class, I would be using the option called start recording. So what the advantage is over here is, once I start the recording and once the class is ended, then I would be sending this recording to you, so that you can refer to this recording n number of times. So once the class is completed, you start your practicing in your own system, right? Then at that particular point of time, if you stuck somewhere, then you can refer to my video and solve your issue. At the same time, it's not a one-time activity. Even after the course completion also, for example, you are going for an interview. So before going for the interview, you want to brush up your skills. You want to just go through what you have learned. Then you can refer to my videos. So that would be the major advantage of having these videos. And I will be providing the training material, exercises, and the training would be taught with using the real-time examples. So let me show you a few of the training materials I am going to send you. So this is the complete set of material I would be sending to each and every student. Chances of close to 150 documents with respect to each and every topic of SAP. So practical part we would be learning in our session, and the theory part you can get from these particular documents. So every document is well documented with respect to diagrams and the other theoretical stuff. So in our class there is no concept called writing, which means we can save a lot of time. So I will be telling the definitions, the basic knowledge required for knowing the knowledge of the object, and we would be starting the practicals immediately. And the theory knowledge you can get from these different documents along with notes. So if you have any doubts, just you can refer to those documents, and if you don't understand any of this area, then you can get back to me in the next class. And during the training period, we will be providing a mobile number to you of the trainer, so that you can interact with him 24/7. That is during the training period only. Okay. So in this way, I would be sharing the materials. At the same time, most of the guys who are coming for this training course would be looking for a job. Then we are ready to help you out with resume preparation, and other guys will be looking for the certification. So we will be helping in certification also. So resume preparation and conducting mock interviews so that the candidate can be confident with himself, so that he can go and attend the real time interviews. And we would be focusing on the at the same whenever we are completing one of the topic. So I would be telling you what are the expected interview questions are related to this topic. For example, I have completed a topic called InfoCube. Then I would be telling you the basic interview questions. So what is InfoCube? What are the different types of dimensions used over here? What is the advantage? All these things. So every topic is completed. The relevant interview questions I would be telling you. At the same time, at the end of the session, end of the class or end of the course, I would be providing you with a set of interview questions, a set of 10 sample resumes, so that you can prepare yourself, and we would be helping you we would be guiding you in having a good resume and and face the interview. So these are the different set of materials relevant to different topics of SAP BW system. Okay, so it is having close to 150 documents you will be getting. For example, see, this is one of the reporting tool of SAP BW. So each and every what is the importance of each and every object, and why we are going to learn these objects. Without shots, you will be getting a clear knowledge to do the activities every. For example, we have an option called new calculator key figure. So what is this new calculator key figure? First, in the first few documents, first few pages, you would be getting the definitions, and from the next few pages, you would be getting the screenshot knowledge of how to do it. So we are going to do all things in our practicals in our system, and in the theoretical documents also you will be getting these documents, so that when you refer, you can get a good knowledge. Okay. So next. Yeah. So, and I would be taking the classes based on a real-time example. So I would be going and picking up one of my real-time requirement, which we have done, which we have analyzed. So normally, whenever a requirement comes to us, we would be doing it in different phases. For example, first one is called as the requirements phase. So we would be collecting the requirements from the respective manager or the other people. Next, design or the blueprint phase. So basing on the requirements, how we are going to develop this in the BW system is called as using the different BW objects is called as a design or the blueprint document. So we'll be getting a conclusion that what are the different BW objects should I use in order to satisfy this particular requirement. Then once the design or the blueprint document is ready, we are starting the development, which means starting creating the different structures. Once it is done, we would be loading them with data. Once it is done, we would be testing whether for the first time we are going to give the correct values, so it should accept. Second time we are going to give the wrong values, so that it should give an error message with us. So if everything is working fine and every testing is done, then we would be doing the unit testing, integration testing, and other testings. Once we feel that everything is correct, we would be taking them to the respective manager and asking him about his opinion. So is he satisfied with this report, or do you want to enhance any other thing? Okay. So once we get a signal that yes, the manager approves that yes, everything is according to my requirements, I'm very happy with this report, then we would be moving this particular object to the production system where the live data is stored. So this is the normal activity which we are going to undergo in the real time whenever we get a requirement. So we would be analyzing the same activity in our training system also, so that you would be getting a real time look and feel. So I'll show you. I'll pick up one of the example from the real time system, and we would be getting trained in the on the same object in our training system. And the advantage of learning SAP BW or any other SAP tool is the training system and the real time system both are the same. Both are having the full functionality. So when an organization purchases a SAP BW from the client, from the SAP, so whatever the features you would be getting, the same features would be available in our training system also. But the only difference is here in the real-time system, in the real-time system, day to day, lots of transactions would be happening. So that's the reason we are having very huge amount of data in the real-time system. But in the case of a training system, we would be working on some dummy data. So we would be ourselves preparing our own data and loading. That's the only difference. Apart from this, every other full functionality is the same. So whether you are logging into a training system or the real-time system, sometimes you will not get the difference even. So the same look and feel, the same GUI, everything would be the same. So if you are having a good practice hands-on with SAP BW training system, then assume that you can practice, you can do everything with your SAP BW real-time system. Okay. Next, this resume preparation, the certification guidance, I already covered with this. So this is the basic thing of normal training of how we are going to do the things. Next, first topic is about introduction to SAP BI intelligence. So what is the SAP BI system? What is the SAP BW system? What is a data warehousing system? What is the ETL tool? What is a reporting tool? So normally the naming, the ETL, the data warehousing word is used whenever we come across the data ETL or reporting kind of activities. So in the same way, the data warehousing tool is broadly divided into two phases, two areas. One is called as the ETL part, and second one is called as the reporting part. So what is you mean by ETL? ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. So why do organizations go for these ETL tools? Is on a day-to-day basis, organizations would be doing transactions with different companies. So different customers would be visiting our stores and purchasing our products, right? So we would be storing that particular data in one or other databases. So the data, the way they are storing the data is called as the entity relationship modeling, which means there would be few tables, and each and every table would be connected with one another by using the primary key, foreign key relationships. So basing on that particular data, you want to take some kind of decisions. For example, my higher level management wants to find out, yes, for this current year 2014, what are my sales with respect to different countries? Then you want to have a glance, you want to have the data summarized and with respect to the charts. For example, I want to find out the country-wise sales, country-wise revenue in terms of charts, in terms of bar charts. Yes, Australia, some 1,000. USA, some amount. UK, some amount. India, New Zealand, Germany. So he can have all of these countries' revenue sales at a glance, so that he can analyze which country is doing better in terms of revenue and why the other countries are not doing. What is the problem? Is there any lack of advertisement, or our sales persons are not getting the good business, or the same products are available in the country at a very cheaper rate? So what is the reason, actual reason? So they would be finding. So these reporting tools, these ETL tools, would be helping the management, take a lot of decisions. At the same time, for example, they want to find out which customer has made the highest bill during the current month. For example, March 2014. So in the month March 2014, which customer has visited our store and made the highest bill? So we would be getting a list of top 10 customers, so that we can give a good discount for them when they come the next time. So we would be informing that was being loyal to our store. We are giving a discount of 10% when you visit our store next time. Then the customer would be feeling happy, right? And he would be visiting our store multiple times. In that way, we can increase our business. And if there are other customers, then top 100 customers. So if it's a big organization and the customers are also very big organizations, then we can arrange a party for them, so that we can have a good relationship with those guys. So in this way, these reporting tools and the ETL tools would be very play a vital role for the management decision making tools. That is how these reporting tools emerge. Okay. So what do you mean by ETL? ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and loading of the data. So extraction means normally in an organization would be using different areas in order to store its day-to-day data. So few of the organizations would be using SAP ERP system, Oracle app system, MS Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle, any other databases, or any other simple flat files called as Notepad or the Excel sheets or the CSV files, or any other system. So in this way, the data is getting stored in the different systems. But if you want to do the reporting by combining the data from these different heterogeneous systems, okay, then this ETL system comes into picture. This every ETL tool has the capability to connect to most of its different source systems. So in this case, the place where we are going to get the data from are called as the source systems, and our ETL or the reporting tool is called as the target system. So the final intention is extract the data from these different source systems and put into the BW system or the ETL tool. That is the ultimate goal of any data warehousing tool. Okay, and extraction, reading the data from these different source systems, and transforming, which means transforming the data or modifying the data according to the reporting requirement of the manager. The last time, load the data. So connect to these different source systems, transform the data according to the reporting requirement, and load the data. So this is called as the ETL part. So most of the ETL tools that are available in the market are having these features. For example, the examples of the ETL tools are SAP BW BI, Informatica, IBM Data Stage. Yes, I'll get back to you. Yeah. So Informatica, Data Stage, OBIEE from Oracle Business Integrated Enterprise Edition, and Kettle. So these are the few ETL tools that are available in the market. And so once we are done with the loading of the data to the respective ETL tool, what is the next step? We need to do the reporting on top of this data. So these reporting tools comes into picture. So if I name few of the reporting tools, then SAP BO, Business Objects, ClickView, TIBCO Spotfire, Tableau. Okay, so these are few of the reporting tools that are making good business in the current market. And there are other tools like so these are few of them are ETL tools, specific ETL tools, and few of them are specific reporting tools. But when I talk about SAP BW BI, Microsoft BI, MS BI, OBIEE, so these are having the features of the ETL activities and the reporting activities. So when I learn SAP BW BI means I am learning all the ETL concepts and the reporting concepts. So that is the advantage of learning the SAP BW BI. Okay. So with respect to SAP BW BI, we have a reporting tool called as Business Explorer. So this is coming by default. This is coming whenever you purchase the SAP license, SAP BW product, then this is the reporting tool coming by default with your organization. But if I purchase the Informatica, no, we need to purchase any other reporting tool and implement it on top of the Informatica tool and read the data from the Informatica and show you in the report. The same is applicable over here also, but this tool is coming along with SAP BW. So whenever I am executing a report, this will connect to the SAP BW system and read the data from over there, and we can display the data in the report. So if you learn SAP BW, then the advantage is we can learn both the SAP ETL parts, ETL knowledge. We can have the ETL knowledge plus the reporting knowledge. And Kate is asking some question like, what is this SAP ECC system, and do I need a reporting tool on top of this SAP ECC system? Yes. So normally this SAP ECC system is called as the SAP ERP application. And currently the SAP ERP application version is SAP ECC 6.0. So what is this SAP ECC system is? ERP application stands for Enterprise Resource Planning Application. So what do you mean by enterprise? Enterprise is nothing but an organization. Resource is nothing but a different resource of the organization, like manpower, the different machines, the different plants. Okay, every other thing that is responsible for manufacturing the different products of the organization. are called as the resources. And planning. So how are you planning to organize these different resources is nothing but an ERP application. So SAP as its own ERP application called as SAP ECC, and the current version is 6.0. So what is the advantage of implementing an ERP application is we can combine all of the organization's information in a single, we can store all of the organization's information into a single database, a single point of contact. For example, most of the manufacturing companies would be implementing these ERP applications in order to store the day-to-day transaction data. The main advantage of implementing the SAP ERP application is that it has a good tight integration between the different departments or modules of the organization. For example, we have different departments: finance department, human resource department, HR department, production planning, plant maintenance, material management, sales and distribution, quality maintenance, warehouse management. So all these departments would be having a good communication. So if we implement the SAP ERP system, and in turn this good communication, this tight integration between all these different departments would be helping the organization to do the business in a very quick manner, to get the responses in a very quick manner. So that is advantage. For example, most of the organizations would be having its business in multiple countries. Then these ERP tools would be helping them to achieve whatever they want, because these SAP ERP system has the capability of understanding in the things in multiple languages. It supports multiple languages. It supports multiple currencies. It supports multiple operating systems. It supports multiple hardware configurations. So these are the other advantages of and this is a single point of contact with reference to the organization's data. Till this point, everything is fine. Now the management comes into picture. So our whatever the data, whatever we are doing the business, so that particular day-to-day data is storing into this particular application. That's fine. But when the management comes into picture, they want to take some decisions based on this particular data, which we are going in storing and storing in the SAP ECC system. We were having a few drawbacks whenever we want to analyze data. So for storing the data, this particular ERP system is very good. But when it comes to analyze data, we are facing some problems. What are the problems is, this is not a GUI based tool. So we can't create and understand the reports in terms of using the charts and any other GUI features. And the data is not getting consistent every time, because the backend tables are getting updated regularly, very frequently. And if you want to have the consistent data, then we should stop the end users to update the respective backend tables. So that is not a good idea, which means indirectly you are stopping the business to enter the data. So that is not a good idea, right? So and this is every time whenever we want to change something, the backend code needs to be changed. For example, most of the time we would be using the select statements in order to read the data from the table. For example, there is an employee table. Then if I want to read the data, then from employee department point of view, then what I can do? Then select employee ID, department name from employee table. Then it would be fetching us these two column values and showing in the report. But all of a sudden, on the fly, I have changed my mind, and now I want to have the employee name also included in the report. Then what I need to do? I need to go to the backend code, change it. First of all, I need to raise a ticket in order to change the structure. Then once it is approved, then I can start my development. And once it is done, so it is a long process, a 2 to 3 day process for a simple change. So these are the problems we are facing with doing reporting on top of an SAP ECC system. And whenever we execute the report, always we are able to see the data in terms of table contents only. Again, in terms of rows and columns only. There is no GUI support. So the management is not able to analyze the data in terms of multiple angles. So for every change, for example, initially one of the manager is viewing the revenue data based on country. So he changed his mind, and now he want to have the data in terms of calendar month. Okay. So in this particular calendar year, based on the different months, he wants to display the data. Then but this simple change it is we need to go to the backend code, change it. The export should come over here, the respective person. You need to change the code and re-execute it, and a ticket should be raised. It should be approved by the different managers. Okay, it should be thoroughly tested. So it's a long phase over here for a simple change. So these are the problems that we are facing with SAP EC system. That is the reason SAP has come up with its own reporting, our own data warehousing tool called as SAP BW system. It's also called as EDW, Enterprise Data Warehouse System. So all the organizations who are implementing the SAP ERP system would be going with the SAP BW system as their reporting tool. So Kate, do you got your answer? Yeah. Okay. And there are other advantages. Yeah. Other advantage of implementing the your ETL tool or the data warehousing tool, which means instead of storing your data in multiple databases and analyzing differently, what we can do, we can connect to these different source systems, read the data from these respective source systems, and put into a single data warehousing system. This is the advantage. The single point of contact for your decision making is your data warehousing application. So in our introduction, we would be learning the importance of the reporting tools, the different ETL tools that are available in the market. So what is the backend technology? What is the backend architecture? These most of the reporting tools will be implementing, how they are organizing the data. So we would be learning in the introduction. So once we are done, we would be moving to the SAP BW exclusive part. So our SAP BW is broadly divided into three phases: the modeling part, the extraction part, and the reporting part. So what do you mean by modeling? So creating the structures according to the reporting requirements is called as the modeling part. And what is extraction? Filling those structures with the data. Okay. For example, you have got a requirement to do a reporting on 2 tables. Okay. Or to do it on the respect of the SAP EC system. Then first of all, we need to understand the requirement. Okay. So from basing on which tables I am going to read the data. Yes. Once you come to a conclusion, then you are going to prepare a design or the blueprint document basing on your requirements. So what are the different BW objects I am going to use in order to achieve this particular requirement? So I would be making a note, and I would be creating a diagram, DFD, data flow diagram, of how the requirement is going to be reflected in our SAP BW system. So that entire part is called as the modeling part. So once we feel that yes, we have understood the requirements and the data flow diagram or the blueprint is ready, then we can go and start developing the different objects in our SAP BW system. And once this is called as the structure creation, or in terms of technically, this is called as a modeling of SAP BW objects. Once we are done with our structures creation, what is the next step? We need to fill those structures with data, which means read the data from these different source systems and put the data into there, right? So that part is called as the extraction. So once our data is ready, then what is the next step? We can create a report or query on top of this data and start analyzing data in multiple angles, from customer point of view, from material point of view, from time point of view. So whatever the business angle you want to analyze data, you can analyze. So the way these data warehousing tools store the data is a bit different. That makes the reporting possible. That makes the reporting very, very quickly. So the backend terminology, the backend architecture these data warehousing tools will be using is called as a star schema or a star schema. Okay. So because of this arrangement of the data in such a way, these data warehousing tools are able to fetch the data in a very quick manner, and they are able to analyze the data in a multiple angles. So for example, initially I am viewing my report based on some country wise revenue. All of a sudden I want to make it to material wise revenue. Then on the fly I can change the value. There is no need to go to the back end and change the code and re-execute it. No, there is no need to raise a ticket, nothing. Initially only whenever we are creating the record, whenever we are creating the report, initial phase only we are going to add all the objects that a manager feels that he may analyze the data in that particular angle. Then there is no need to change anything. On the fly, using the same report, we can analyze the data by using the multiple angles. So that is the advantage of implementing these data warehousing tools. So which are very quick in reading the data from the respective ETL tool or the backend data warehousing tool, and show the data in terms of a report. And these data warehousing tools would be supporting the GUI features, like I can analyze the data in terms of charts, in terms of pie diagrams, in terms of any other GUI options. And there is other options called as the analysis, so that I can compare my revenue data for the last 5 years. So what's the trend going on? The sales are going up or down. So if up, then I am happy. If down, why? What is the reason? So in that way, these reporting tools will be helping us. So our BW is broadly divided into 3 phases: modeling, extraction, and reporting. So when we go for an interview, then the first question the interviewer will be asking is, in which phase of SAP BW have you worked on? Then if you are having some 3 to 4 years of experience, then you should be able to answer in that, yes, I worked on the modeling and the extraction, and I do have knowledge in the reporting side also. Then according to your answer, you would be focusing on the specific area. You would be going in detail, in depth, and the other areas you would be asking you the basic questions. Okay, so yes. Now with respect to modeling, so what do you mean by modeling? Creating of the structures using the different BW objects, right? So these are the different BW objects which I would be using in SAP BW in order to create my structures. So we would be studying about all of these things in a very detailed manner, and every object information I would be sharing with the theory documents. So practical part we would be doing in our system, and the theory part you would be getting from the different documents. And if you have any doubts with respect to the documents, after reading those documents, you can get back to me in the next class. You can prepare a document with your questions, and you can ask me in the next class so that I can solve your problem. So this way our classes will go on. Okay, and in the modeling, these are the different objects: info area, info object catalogs, data source, transfer rules, update rules, info package, transformation. So using these different objects, we are going to create the structures. So we will be studying about these different objects in detail. If I tell you now also, then that's of no use, because you are very new to the SAP BW system. So first the basics would be done, then learning of these objects one by one. According to the requirement, you will be picking up and learning the things. Next, we would be going to a concept called info providers, BI 7.0 info providers. Okay, so what do you mean by info provider? Is nothing but an information provider. So this is the place where we are going to store our data in terms of SAP BW. So whenever we got a requirement, we are going to create the structure based on these different objects. So using these different objects, we are going to create the info providers. So these are the different info providers that are available in the SAP BW system. So on top of these info providers, we are going to create the reports, which means these are the data holders in terms of SAP BW. So whenever we get a requirement, we would be reading the data. We would be reading the data from the different source system and putting the same data into our report info provider. So on top of this info provider, we can create a report and start analyzing the data. So these are the different info providers. So what is the use of these different info providers and when to use which info provider? So we are going to learn in detail. Out of all these info providers, this inlcudes is the most prominently used info provider in SAP BW system. Okay, and these are the other things which we can study. So what is the importance, when to go for which info provider, what is the advantage and disadvantage of each and every info provider. So basing on our requirement, we would be choosing one of our info provider. So we would be getting a clear knowledge once we start our practical classes, Next, and these are the different BI 7.0 info providers: the master data, attributes, text, standard DSO, right optimized DSO, data DSO, standard DSO, and all other stuff. Next, I already told you, right, the current version of SAP BW is 7.3 version. So we would be studying the important features that are available. So I already told you that 90% of 7.3 system is the same as of SAP BI 7.0. which means all of these info providers, all of these basic modeling structures, okay, are available in the 7.3 version also, except all of these things are available. Apart from that one, the newly added features, these are the newly added features that are associated with the 7.3 system. Okay, so we would be learning what are the new features, what is the different options, what are the new extra things that has given to respect to SAP BW 7.3. So what are the new info providers it has added? We would be studying in detail one by one. So once this is done, we are done with the modeling part of the SAP BW. What is the next part? The extraction part, right? So normally for every SAP BW system, the ultimate goal and the purpose of implementing the SAP BW system is to do reporting on SAP ECC system. So if 100 organizations are there, and out of those 100 organizations, 95 organizations are using SAP ECC or SAP ERP application in order to store its transaction data, then they would be using this SAP BW system as a data warehousing tool. So that is the reason this SAP ECC or the ERP application would be our primary source of data with respect to the reporting, with respect to the ETL activities. Okay. That is the reason we would be very specific to SAP application. And this SAP BW is a product of SAP, SAP ECC is also a product of SAP. So that is the reason SAP has given you a lot of built-in features, and that built-in features is called as a business content. So they have created a lot of BW modeling objects basing on the ECC tables. So everything is ready-made when it comes to SAP ECC as my source system. The only thing is, first of all, we need to analyze what is the requirement is. And basing on the requirement, we should start checking whether SAP has given us any default or any business content object. So most of the times, with respect to SAP ECC, we are having most of the times we would be getting the business content, which is called as the ready-made things. So according to your requirement, if you found something, then the only thing is what you need to do is activate that objects and use them. There is no need to create, there is no need to analyze the things, nothing. Because that is the advantage of this SAP and BW implementation. So because of these built-in features SAP has given, the implementation time for the SAP BW system would be very less. Because I already told you, most of the times SAP BW is implemented to do the reporting on top of SAP EC system. So basing on the SAP EC system, SAP has given you a lot of predefined things. So analyze the requirement, and if you feel that this particular predefined thing is satisfying your requirement, then simple thing, activate and use them, which is not going to take much time of yours. That is the reason the BW implementation time would be very less if it would be on the top of a SAP ECC. And apart from SAP ECC, if there are other source systems, then it's a bit time consuming because we need to analyze the requirements. We need to do everything from the scratch. There is no ready-made thing with respect to other source systems. And most of the times we will be connecting our SAP BW system with a flat file or nothing but Excel sheets. So we are storing our data in SAP in Excel sheets, and we are going to read the data and put into our SAP BW system. So if that is the procedure, then we will need to follow a procedure called as the flat file extraction. If I have stored the data in a SAP ERP application, so these are the different ways of extracting the data from the SAP EC system, which is our primary source of system. And if I want to connect to a database system, Oracle, then I would be using a connector called as DB Connect and reading the data from the data source from the different database. So in this way, according to your source system, we would be implementing few logics in order to load and read into the BW system. Once read into the BW system, once the data is ready in the BW system, which means the same procedure is applicable irrespective of the system, irrespective of the source system. Even it can be SAP ERP application, ECC, CRM, SRM, Excel sheets, databases, any other tools, where we are going to read the data from irrespective. Okay, till the point we read the data into the BW system, only that concerns. And from here we can analyzing the data. We can start analyzing data using the different reporting tools. So this part is called as the extraction, which is nothing but reading the data from the different source systems and putting our data into the BW system. So once it is done, we are going to learn the process called as process chains. So what is the process chains are? So I already told you, right? So the primary motto of SAP BW system is to do reporting on top of SAP ECC system. But in the SAP ECC system, the data is getting updated on a day-to-day basis very frequently. So every day when the business is started, the backend tables are getting updated with the new data, or few of the existing data is changed, or few of the existing data is deleted. So lots of things are happening with respect to data in the ECC tables. So, but I need what is the purpose of SAP BW? I need to do the reporting based on that particular data only, right? Then what I can do is I can take the help of this process chains concept and read the data from the respective source systems and put into the BW system on a day-to-day basis. It's totally based on our requirement. If you want to read the data on daily basis, then you can run your job daily. Every weekly means every week. Every month means every 1 month. Okay. In this way, according to your reporting requirement, we can read the data from the respective source systems and putting into our BW system. And these process chains are responsible for achieving this feat. Okay. So normally the normal procedure is we would be reading the data on a day-to-day basis. So once the business hours are closed, once the organization is shut down, and we assume that none of the backend tables are getting updated, at that particular point of time, we can start reading the data from those respective tables and updating the same into the BW system. So normally we would be running these jobs in the early morning hours, 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. early morning hours, so that at that particular point of time, none of the end users are executing the or editing the backend tables. So in this way, we are going to achieve our reading of the data from the different source systems and putting into the BW system. And we have a mechanism called as a transport mechanism in SAP. So what is it? So normally the landscape of the SAP systems is a development system would be there, a quality system followed by the production system. So whenever we get a requirement, we will be developing all those things in a system called as a developing system. And do a simple testing over here. Once we feel that everything is fine over here, we can move this object from one system to another system. In this case, from development system to the quality system for thorough testing. So in the quality system, we are not going to create again all things from the scratch. No. Okay. So we would be moving the object from the development to the quality system. So in SAP, we have this process is called as a transport mechanism. So we would be transporting the developed object from development to the quality. So we would be having some different mechanisms in order to transport. So we would be studying those transport mechanism also. So all of the organizations would be implementing this landscape only: development system, quality, and production. So once we thoroughly test the object in the quality system, we would be moving the same to the production system, where we are going to store our live data. And once the object is moved to the production system, means we are done with our development, and the manager can analyze the data from now onwards. So this is the normal thing. First, the modeling of the objects, next extracting, next once it is extracted, we will be moving the object to we would be updating the data on a day-to-day basis or regularly according to your reporting requirement, and the object is now ready in the production system in order to analyze the data. So how to analyze? Using a reporting tool, right? So we are going to study the reporting tool. So I have already told you, with respect to SAP BW, we have a default reporting tool called as a Business Explorer. So in this Business Explorer, there are two tools. One is called as the Query Designer and one is called as the Analyzer. So Query Designer is used to design your query according to your requirement. So which object to be placed where? What are the important objects I need to analyze? What are the different formulas? What are the different key figures? What are the different areas you want to put in your report? So you can design by using these different features that are available within the Business Explorer Query Designer. For example, if I go back to my material, you can see a lot of documents with respect to this query designer, business expert query designer and analyzer. So you would be getting a clear-cut knowledge of how to use these different objects, how to create the things. Say create a workbook. So what are the different steps? What is the workbook? What is the definition? Okay, and how to do this. So you'll be getting a clear-cut like this. So these are the different features. So we will be doing a practical session on these different features, and most of the time you would be getting a lots of interview questions on the query design, because this is the ultimate goal of your requirement, right? This is the ultimate place where we are going to see the data. So my manager wants to analyze data in different ways. So using these different objects. So that's the reason the interviewer would be focusing on these different objects. When to use which option. For example, this is my manager's requirement. So which option would you go and why? So in this way we can, so our training would be totally based on the practical part, and at the same time once the topic is completed, I would be covering the respective interview questions, frequently asked interview questions with respect to this particular topic. Okay, so this query designer is used to design the queries, and analyzer is used to analyze the data based on this report structure. Okay, so now that is done, we are done with the modeling, extraction, and reporting, and we are covering a topic called as a performance improvement. So ultimately this performance improvement comes because in the data warehousing system or the BW system, we are going to store huge amount of data from the different source systems, okay, in order to analyze the data. So we are reading the data, and it is a single point of contact for all of your data warehousing activities, which means a lot of data is there, right? Then definitely the performance improvement comes into picture. For example, in one of my info provider, I have stored 10 years of data. Then I want to create a chart analysis, trend analysis of my sales for the last 10 years. Then what the system will do? What the report will do? It will come to the respective BW system, read all the 10 years data and show you in the report, right? So reading all of the 10 years data, which means reading multiple billions of records, is not that easy for the system. Then it would definitely taking a long time in order to execute the report, because it is reading a huge amount of data in the backend. So in order to reduce the time, we need to implement different performance improvement techniques with respect to the BW system, and especially to enhance the report reading time, so that whenever we execute the report, the backend engine would be able to read the data as fast as possible and show you in the report. Okay, so these are the different performance improvement techniques which we are going to learn. So which option should be used when? What do you mean by aggregate? What do you mean by compression? So what is advantages? What are the disadvantages? And what is the prerequisites? And at which point of time we need to analyze? So this is the area you'll be getting a lot of questions, because everybody can create the modeling, everybody can do the extraction, everybody can do the reporting, but how do you enhance your system performance? So you would be asking some real-time scenarios based on these things. So Mr. Yeah, you are executing your report, and the report is executing and it is taking some 10 minutes to read the data from the SAP BW system. So what are you going to do? Then you should be in a position that you can answer this question in a very tricky way. So how to analyze, and where it is taking a lot of time in order to read and show the data in the report. So first of all, we need to analyze. So once the analysis is done, we would be picking any few of these different performance improvement techniques and implement those things and improve the reporting performance. So in this way, you can, if you answer, then the interviewer is very much impressed. So you'd be getting this knowledge, all this knowledge, when we start our classes and do the things. So everything is analysis based. First you need to analyze and then implement the right logic over there and see the result. Okay, and with this we are done with our SAP BW BI part. And every SAP BW BI consultant should and must have a knowledge of SAP ABAP. It's not mandatory, but it would be definitely a fetching for you. It would be an added advantage for you if you go for an interview. Okay, So in this course, as a complementary thing, I would be learning you guys the ABAP part also. So what I would be giving you, what is the basic knowledge of ABAP, like the fundamentals. Okay, what are the different keywords, what are the different tables we are going to use, what are the different objects we are going to use normally in ABAP on a day-to-day activities. So once we are done with the basics, then I would be more specific to where we are going to implement this ABAP in our SAP BI, in our SAP BI system. So this is where the interviewer will be focusing on. He would be asking you a question. Do you know the relevant knowledge? Do you know the ABAP knowledge relevant for SAP BI? If no, then that's not a big deal, but you will get a minus 10 points in the interview. For example, if you are assuming that if he's asking that interview is based on 100 points, then definitely minus 10, because this ABAP knowledge is would be an added advantage. Then if you tell that yes, then you would be focusing on these areas. So where have you implemented the ABAP? Then if you are able to learn what type of code we are going to do in these areas, so normally in every BW or BA project, we would be having the ABAPers also. It's not that the only BA person would be working. So whenever we got a similar kind of requirement, what we will do is we will reach an ABAPer to and explaining what your problem is, what your requirement is, and accordingly using the skill set you would be designing the things and showing us the same over here. So but if your basis you are a BA consultant, and if you are able to do these things by yourself, then there is no need of an ABAPer in your project, right? Then definitely the company would be looking for a guy who is having the BA knowledge plus ABAP knowledge, the basics. Okay, then that would be then an advantage for you. That is the reason we would be covering the ABAP part also, and I would be covering it for 5 hours. So 45 hours exclusive BW classes and 5 hours the SAP ABAP part. So in this way we are going to learn the SAP BW 3.5 version, BI 7.0 version, and BW 7.3 version, and basics of ABAP knowledge also. And when it comes to a SAP, when it comes to a data warehousing environment, it's not you should have a simple one tool knowledge. It would be very fetching for you if you have multiple knowledge or multiple tools knowledge. So I am an online trainer for ClickView also. So this is a reporting tool. So as a complementary thing, I would be giving some 2 to 3 hours of ClickView class also. I would be taking ClickView reporting tool classes so that you can add. It's a self-learn tool. It's not that you should take classes for this one and do the things. No, I would be giving you the starting things. So how to start, how to analyze things. Then I would be sharing you some kind of documents with respect to ClickView also. So let me show you the ClickView material. The ClickView. Okay. So these are the different materials that are associated with ClickView, and it is a simple reporting tool to learn with. So let us analyze the one report over here, and it is also available in the personal also, which means you can purchase it free of cost. You can download it free of cost from the particular site and start analyzing the data. So this is a pure reporting tool. What is our SAP BW BI is? It is an ETL plus reporting tool. Okay. So I will be giving knowledge of this particular tool also, so that when you interview this particular tool knowledge also to your resume, so that it will be an advantage for you. So in our organization, we have implemented this ClickView tool on top of our SAP BW system. So even though we have a default reporting tool called as the Business Explorer, okay, that would not be supporting a much GUI features. That is the reason most of the organizations would be going with any third-party tools called as the SAP BW or ClickView. Okay, nowadays ClickView is giving a good competition to the SAP BW. Okay, so you would be getting knowledge of SAP BW, SAP ABAP, and the ClickView knowledge also if you join the course. That's the advantage of this ABAP and the ClickView are the complementary things. We are not going to charge anything for this one. Okay, so this is our training course. So you guys have any doubts to ask me? You guys are not at all responding, man.